this little bit of crafting coming to you from a messy crafting desk, but I'm sure that comes as no big surprise. Let me get my devices set up and make sure that I have sound. And then I can see if anybody joins me live. Well, I have sound. That's a good thing. Give me just a second. We'll get everything lined up here. All right, I think we're good to go. Sala, welcome. So, anybody who's joining that's new to the channel, feel free to chime in. We like suggestions here to make things better. And let me know where you're joining from. How are you tonight, Sala? Oh, today. It's Monday morning by you. So, I don't think Amanda's left for school yet, right? I got to make sure my thumbs up is thumbs up, right? That was nice. She caught that for me. And I just see my decorative masks up here that I lost my wrapper for. So, whew, I'm a little disorganized today. I didn't really have a stressful day, but what did we do today? Spent some time with the chickens and spent some time with some friends who just got chickens. She got me this cute little magnet. Runt is cock-a-doodle-doo for collecting eggs. I thought that was hilarious. So, you're going to be here for about an hour. Then you've got to go to Pam's, sure. Oh, that's right, because Monday you do your lives. Amanda, bless her heart, she's still sleeping. Well, I have to admit, I took a nap today. I told my husband, I said, I think I lost about 55 minutes. And he said, no, it was an hour and 55, but he was just kidding. So, I did go for a walk today, though. And, yeah, it was actually kind of a relaxing day. So, quick announcements, because Sally, you can't stay long. So, let's get down to business pretty quick. Starter kit for those of you that are new. $125 worth of product for only $35. You pick the products, you get free shipping and a bunch of other perks. Or if you want a larger item that's more than the $125, your best offer is this $189 kit for only $99. Message me if you've got questions. I would love to have you join my team. And a couple of you have. That's so exciting. Virtual craft classes. Stampin' Up! Is starting these. October 23rd is the first one. I won't be able to do a watch party for this because I'm doing a scrapbooking class that day with someone from my team. But the online class, the virtual class, is available for sale. It is $30. They're featuring this Traditions of Christmas Suite collection. There's a supply list. There's going to be Stampin' Up! People that are going to lead the class. It's going to be about 2.5 hours. They'll do techniques and backstory stuff, and I'm sure it's going to be a good time. There's going to be 4 projects. We'll get project PDFs, 3 cards, 1 home decor item. So I'm looking forward to that. The class is already in my cart. I have not submitted my cart yet, though, because I have some kits in there. And the kits start on sale the 6th through the 8th. So it's mountain time in the United States when the sale starts. So I still have about an hour and 15 minutes before the sale prices should populate for me. But they'll be up to 30% off. So some of them are going to be 10% off, but up to 30% off. Paper pumpkin kits are not included. Scrapbooking kits are not included. The starter kit is not included. So basically any of the brown box kits from the kits collection. There's a lot of fun ones. Last Chance products were updated. There's new stuff. And then this 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar. I have some recipes for those. So anybody who buys this kit from me, I will share with you those recipes that Stampin' Up! Has provided. I can't sell them, but if you purchase the kit through my store, I will gift those to you. They don't give measurements, but they at least let you know what all of the projects or all the products are rather, to do that. So this kit, we opened it the other day, a couple days ago. If you want to see what's in it, go check out that episode. If you don't want to see it, just wait until you get yours and then you can peek. And I'm sorry I have a mint in my mouth because my throat was pretty dry. All right, so these are the cards we did the other night, last night, World Card Making Day. So I thought I would take just a couple of them and just try to make something different out of them. I don't really have a plan. I mean, I had a couple of things in mind, but no set plan. So I am going to use some elements from this one, some elements from this one, and maybe we'll get to this one tonight. We'll see. And these I'll do on another episode. But I'm just going to kind of stack these here. Which one should we start with, Sala? I know they are also pretty. So I have some things kind of in my head for these three. 1, 2, or 3. Which one do you think we should play with? 2 or 3? Or don't you care? Because if you don't care, I'm just going to start to my left. 1, 2, or 3. This one. Alrighty. We will start with that one. Now, let me get those elements. Where did it go? I had them out. I'll find it. Here we go. So I thought what I could do is use this piece as a template. Kind of like this. And do some ink blending. And I thought maybe I would make it look kind of fall-ish. But then, in the center, I thought I would put this Love and Courage stamp that support, strength, heart, faith, resolve, fight, hope, survive, or believe. So let's just kind of start some blending. And guess what color I'm pulling in? Sala? Can you guess? It's not one of the colors that was in the color palette from this kit. So I thought we would do some Cajun craze and some pumpkin pie, and we'd give it a fall vibe. So I'm going to start with the pumpkin pie. We'll do the lighter color first. I also have some cherry cobbler. And I'm just going to play, and if it doesn't turn out, it doesn't turn out. I haven't messed up the good side, so we could still do something with that, so I'm just going to play with the back side. All right, let's just see what happens. And let me get a scrap piece here. And I have my Secret C out as well, but I was working on a commissioned card today, and I was doing some ink blending, and I used my Secret C brush for my Night of Navy. Yeah, you knew it was going to be some kind of orange. I am sometimes kind of predictable. So anyway, I used my Secret C brush for my Night of Navy, so I had to rinse it out. And I probably should have taped this down so it doesn't shift. So I had to rinse it out. So I can't do my Secret C tonight because when the brush is wet, it is just simply too blotchy. So we'll just see how this turns out. Well, orange does kind of make sense, doesn't it? We had beautiful sunset tonight, and we have almost a full moon. Our harvest moon will be tomorrow. And I don't really want this to bleed over into there. So let's see if I can protect that a little bit. I think I'll try to do it a little darker on the one side and lighter on the other. Well, that looks pretty good. Now, I think what I might try to do then, is shift this maybe a little bit. I wonder if that'll work. It might not work because it's going to be kind of hard to see. Maybe I should just leave well enough alone and do it that way. Now what I could do is take some Cajun craze and maybe we should just do this image with Cajun craze and see how it looks. And then I also pulled out, I thought I'd pulled out one of the sets that has the autumn leaves. Let's just see. And then I was going to cut this down and put it on a different base. So let's just see how this looks. Hopefully I won't have to do it over. That background with the hearts might be a little dark. Either that or this printing might be a little light. So let's try to do that again, but just with a little light blending. Let's do that on this side because I'm going to cut these apart anyway. This was not intended to be my base. It was just a base that I had ready to go. So let's try to do this a little lighter this time. That might be a little too light. You just never know how it's going to look. That might be better. Let's try this again. And I'm going to get a dauber actually, because some of these edges are a little dark. I don't know if you can see that very well, but the tips of these sunflowers are pretty dark, which is why I wasn't really super excited about that one. So maybe what I should do is, now let's just lighten these up a little bit. I'm just going to daub off some of that ink from there. And then maybe we'll just add some of the pumpkin pie instead. I know usually we don't put light over dark, but I'm going to be brave and daring. And we'll just see how it looks. I'll try this again. Hopefully that's not too crooked. Let's just see how it looks. Oh, I like that better. Just a little bit of the sunburst behind there. Hopefully you can see that. It's not super dark. But then what we're going to do is I'm going to trim this down to be a layer size. And maybe we'll do, I'm going to go to the edge of those little hearts there. And I'm going to take a little bit off of this end so that I've got about the same border there. And then we should be pretty close to, so we got 3 7/8. So I'm just going to do 5 1/8, I think. Maybe we'll just take about 1/8 off of each side here. I did re-ink the stamp. I re-inked it, but not, didn't I? I thought I did. I had to have. I just didn't squish it on there as much. And it had a little chance to kind of dry a little bit. So which one do we like better? The darker one with the darker tips on those flowers? That should be 5 1/4. We'll take 1/8 off of each end here. I could have forgotten to re-ink it, who knows? Obviously, if you didn't think I re-inked it, I must not have. All right, so let's see what this looks like here. And in fact, I mean, I could have taken like some of these textured notes dies maybe. And I could trim this down. No, that's too small. And this one might now be too big. Oh, it would just work. We could give it a decorative edge. You think? What do you think? Oh, okay. Whew, I thought I had, but you know, you just never know. It could happen. I kind of like the subtle one, but I like the darker one too. I could do both of them. Let's, you know, when you're just doing it on the fly, you just never know what's going to happen. I'm going to go ahead and get my Big Betsy out here. And let's do this border. Yep, and I'm going to try to tilt this so that I've got the corner leading, not the flat edge, just because it travels through those rollers a little easier. So I think I'm up on my block. There we go. And then I think I need to get a Cajun Craze base. I didn't pull that over, but I think since I'm at it, I may as well cut this other one down as well. I think the decorative edge just kind of finishes off. You know, this just looks like an edge. This looks like it belongs that way. Of course, I could rough up the edges of that one. So let's just, I'll just go get one base. Cajun Craze coming up. All right. So I like the color combination on this. Quite nice. Together, this is Daffodil Delight and the Cajun Craze and Pumpkin Pie. Weren't you the one that I was doing Cajun Craze like 3 or 4 nights in a row? And you're like, oh, Cajun Craze again. I thought it was you. Maybe not. It wasn't really a joke. It was just one of those things where, yeah, I'm using Cajun Craze again. Who knew? Because I think I was doing a lot of the autumn ones several nights in a row, that's all. All right, so let me go get the other base too. May as well. So if I take my snips, I could make this a little more autumny rustic. And then I'm going to get some leaves maybe. and make a little cluster. We'll see how it looks. This is almost like a standalone sentiment though. Either of those looks all right. And then let's find some gems. I have lots of gems to choose from. We have antique pearls. I could probably color those. Those might be too bright yellow. I think there was maybe there was an earlier video where we were talking about the Cajun craze several nights in a row. It was nothing bad. Not at all. Well, I'm just trying to find some little gems that I'm gonna like. Maybe I just have too many to choose from. Here we go. Faux glass dots. I don't know if these are even still current, but the color is good because those are the right color. So let's find some of those leaves. I must not have pulled those dies out. I have this one. Is it Craze or Grace? Quite a difference. Yeah, it would be quite a difference. We have these. Why don't we go ahead and stamp those? And I'm going to stamp them on maybe some very vanilla because I have a scrap handy. So let's do, that one will fit. That acorn is really cute too, and this one. I think we'll just do a couple of those. And I did bring my cherry cobbler out as well. So let's just stamp a few here. I'm gonna do those berries and cherry cobbler. We'll do a couple of those. And then we'll do these. And maybe I should do them in pumpkin pie and then use the sponge dauber around the edge to add some color. Let's see how that looks. So then we've got our Cajun craze, and I'm just gonna add some dark around the edges here. And let's see how that looks. Oh, that's kind of nice. I could probably add some of the cherry cobbler on those edges too. Let's wipe this off. Hello, Bonnie. Welcome. All right, so I need more pumpkin pie. And let's try the red. I just need to get another dauber. The cherry cobbler, I mean. And we'll just add some of that to one side. And see how that looks. Oh, that's pretty too. All right, so I'm done with that one, done with this one. Let's do pumpkin pie on this one. And we'll do a little Cajun craze over here. And then I think we'll do red on this one. And then we'll cut these out. So let me close these so I don't get an inky mess going on here. And then I want to see if there's some kind of, I think maybe I could use hope. And maybe just put hope on, oh, I suppose I should stamp this, huh? Hey, Juju. Welcome. Nice. All right, I like all the different shading on those. And then let's do the hello, or the hope, I mean. And we'll do Cajun Craze for that one. And I think I may end up fussy cutting it. Let's just get a new scrap just in case. All right. All right, so we've got this one that's a possibility. I need to burnish that a little bit more. Really got a mess going on here. All right, so that can go here. This is the one I'm liking better just because of that border. So this is Cajun Craze. Let's get this out of here. And then we need the dies for these elements here. So we've got the berries, the big leaf, and then this smaller one. All right, so let's get the little Betsy out here. And we'll do some die cutting. Now I'm also going to get my washi tape out so I don't have to fight with this. How are you today, Mama Juju? Bonnie, I don't think I asked how you were today. We were chatting earlier, kind of. Got some Facebook business done. So Juju, maybe you can resend that invite to me because I don't know what happened to it. It's like nowhere for Facebook. That way I can get you invited to those other couple of groups if you're interested. There we go. I kind of had that misaligned a little bit. Yeah, it is kind of a shame our weekend is over, but you know, Sal is already over her weekend, so she's in worse shape than we are. Although I'm retired, so every day is kind of like a weekend actually. Although I am going to the college again tomorrow to work with one of the gals there. But I'm only doing that for a couple of hours. I have my limits. I was with her all day on Friday. We covered a lot of stuff, but I'm not used to putting in those long days anymore. All right. All right, so Sal, I won't be catching your live today because I'll be going to the college. Well, you'll probably start before I'm even ready to go, but oh, come on. Well, having small kids in the house is not retired. I know, been there, done that. That one got a little crooked, but I'm gonna maybe just trim those edges a little bit and we'll work with it. Oh, and I had 2 dies for that, for the berries too. Yeah, I didn't make a very good stay-at-home mom. I needed to work at least part-time when my kids were little. Okay, I don't think I put these in the wrong place on here. There we go. I don't know. They'll get on there somehow. All right, so let's put this away. And then, whoop, this is the one we want. So I thought what we would do is maybe I should do those textured notes dies and do Hope in the same frame as that one. Then I won't have to fussy cut it. And I can even make it shorter. Let's do that because I think that'll look nicer than my fussy cutting. Yeah, I used to put my dies on magnets quite a bit, and I have some that are on magnets. I guess I don't have any handy, but it just gets away from me. Time does, you know. I put them on and I keep things organized, and then before you know it, I'm getting some other product and getting behind in putting them on magnets. Usually when I have sets that have, like here, I did these. That's on a magnet, the snowflake ones, the delicate pines dies. Just because there were so many, it's always easier than trying to get them on and off that 2-sided tape, because that double tape they use is amazingly strong. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people that put them on the wall like that. So, Juju, we have Menards by us. I don't know if you have Menards by you, but it's a hardware store. And I get, in fact, do I have any close by? I do. I get these register vent covers. There's 3 sheets in here. They're not adhesive. But I figure when I take the magnets off of this piece, there's 2-sided tape in there. I put a little bit more 2-sided tape on the sheet that I cut down to like the 5x7. And then these are only a couple bucks though. I don't know how much they are from Amazon. But when I had priced them before, these were actually cheaper. So you get 3 of them. They're 8x15 inches. And I picked up a few of them, probably like because they always have their like 10% off sale too. I'm trying to get this die set to where yes, I cut them. I can cut them to any size I want because they're thin enough, they're flexible enough. I just put them through my guillotine cutter that I have. I want to tape this down. Yeah, I have, like an old office supply one, a guillotine cutter. It wasn't a crafting cutter. I've got 25 5x7s for 16, 25, and I can get like 1, 2, 3, so that's 15 I get about 15 of them for, you know, $4 or $5 that I cut. So it's probably pretty close as far as price. Now this one I didn't put, I need to adjust that so that that corner's going in first rather than that flat edge. And then I also got some from Stamp and Storage. I got some of these, and these are also 5x7s. So they're heavier. The ones, the vent covers are very flexible, so they're lightweight. But these are harder, and then this side you can actually put stamps on if you wanted to, or you can use like a dry erase. But these are quite a bit more expensive from Stamp and Storage. So I got a pack of, I don't know, I think they came like at a 10 pack or something. I don't remember how much they were. Oops. All right, let's see how this turned out. So you saw how I did that, just shortening up my sentiment by moving that die over and matching up the design. Now we've got it shortened. All right, so if we do this here, well, we're going to cover up some of those words, but I don't think that really matters. And we can put this down here and maybe take our bone folder and break these fibers down a little bit. You have a spending problem? You just have a lot of things that you need. That's all. I had thought about getting a big magnetic board, but as a demonstrator, I don't want to have to figure out what dies on my board are from what set. So it's just, it's safer for me to keep my dies in my set. And then when they're retired, then I can move them. I don't have to try to figure out from my board what belongs where. Maybe you've got yours organized on your board better than I would. So what do we think? Yeah? What do you think of that? Those will go a little bit flatter. So what we started with was this and the blue piece. Yeah, when they're the ones you mostly use, I'm sure it makes a lot of sense. I just am always using different ones all the time. So we used this, but I flipped it over and we did the ink blending there as a backdrop to the sunflower sentiment from here. So I think, what just fell? Oh, there. My dauber just fell. So I think what I'll do is I'll put this up on dimensionals, just on the corners. Oh, so they had the boards there. That's inexpensive. Yeah, the magnetic boards that I found, I did get one magnetic board, but it's just like to hang some of my notices and stuff. But it was pretty pricey. It pays to have friends, right? But even mailing it for $14 was cheaper than probably what I paid for my one little board here that's like, I don't know, 15 by 36 maybe. Okay. I think that's pretty straight. And then I'm going to put this up on dimensionals too, because there's no dimensionals here. So when it goes through the postal stuff, I'm only going to have dimensionals in the middle, and it won't add to the thickness to require extra postage. I have some Klingon washi tape there, didn't want to let go. Oh, I'm sure it would have cost quite a bit, yeah. So if we put this here, maybe I should put all of the leaves behind. What do you think? A little tough love on that glue bottle again. You know, and I had thought too about just getting like a piece of sheet metal, because it just has to be metal. Oh, except never mind, because the dies aren't magnetized. That wouldn't have worked. Never mind. Silly idea. Maybe that's why I didn't get them, because it wouldn't work. I think I want both of those behind. All right, then this can go on here. And then I've got this little berry too. Maybe I'll just tuck that maybe over there. Maybe I'll wipe off that glue and I'll just do it flat on the card. There. Just to have a little variance in color there with the cherry cobbler, pumpkin pie, Cajun craze. So there's, I know it doesn't seem like these are even closely related, but they are. Here's this piece, and here it is here with the background there, and then I just used a different stamp and some different images. So instead of the flowers, we have some leaves, and it's a little more autumny. So there's that one. And then here's another one that I stamped a little lighter, but I don't know if I really like it lighter or not. So we're going with this one. Oh, and I need some gems. So I should look to see if these faux glass dots are still available. I'm wondering if they're probably discontinued. Yep. These faux dots aren't available anymore, but I'm going to use them anyway. We all have all kinds of dots, right? All kinds of embellishments. You need to use them up. I'm just going to tuck that one under there a little bit, just because they're the right color. And then I will move these to my retired bin. All right. There. So there's that one. Let's put my daubers away, because I don't know that I will use any more of those tonight. All right, and I'm going to hang on to this because I might do more of a sunburst design. Of course, I could even cut that out as a circle and use that on a card. So we'll hang on to that. I'm not sure if I'll use the Secret Sea side or if I'll use the other side. We'll see. All right. So let's go on to another one. Let me put some of these things away. You need to organize your stamps. Yeah, I start out really good. Every time we have a new catalog, I start out really good, keeping everything organized. I label them so that I know if it's from the annual catalog or from the mini catalog or if it's an online exclusive. And then before you know it, I've got so many from so many different things that my new order comes in and then I don't keep things labeled. So I always have good intentions. It just doesn't always work out that way. So I'm not sure. Not sure why these aren't fitting on here how they did before. Maybe that'll work. Because I don't think I'm going to use those for one of the next ones. Oh, so your dies are not organized. Yeah, and I keep my dies with whatever sets they go with for the most part. All right, let's see now. I think we're going to play with this one. This card. I just wanted to use I've got this emery board. So you took them all off the wood and on sheets all mixed up. Yeah. I didn't have a whole lot of wooden blocks because I was not in a stamping era at that point when the wood blocks were so popular. I don't know that I was really doing other crafts because I was working full time. Yeah, and I've gotten to the point where I'm clearing out my inventory. So when things are old, I'll keep them for a little bit, my more favorite ones. And I always had this, guilt that, oh, I only used one stamp out of there. Or, oh, I never got around to using this. And I figure if I've had it that long and I haven't used it yet, I'm probably not going to use it. So I have started letting go of some things. Let me just wash these few things up as well. And I would probably say I have probably a few hundred, 200 to 300 stamps still. But I do sales from time to time, whether it's on a buy, sell, trade site or if I'm at an event, like a vendor event, and I will sell some things that way too. But when my mother passed away too, I had doubles of a lot of things because she wanted to have her own set. And the wooden stamps that I have left are ones that were hers. I don't think I have any of my own wooden stamps anymore. I've kept a few over the years just because I wanted to kind of compile a yearly collection. So, try to have one from every year, but I don't even know how that's going. I never took an inventory of what I had and what I didn't. So, all right. Bear with me while I get these put away. If I can figure out how it goes in here. Wow, interesting. There we go. Whew, that was a struggle. You think your hubby may have burned them? That's funny. He better not. I had actually thought with some of my old stamps, the wooden block ones, they are very hard to sell. And when you donate them to Goodwill or someplace like that, you don't know what's going to happen to them. And, you know they've got some value. But I had considered doing something similar, Bonnie, and drilling holes. Like, let's say this was my wood block, drilling a hole through this way, and then making like an ornament tower. So I'd have a smaller one and a medium-sized one, and then just make like a almost like a chandelier or a pendulum, or I don't know even what you want to call it, but I thought I could do something like that just for the ones that you really like, that you don't want to get rid of, and make it into like a decor item and hang them on the wall even. At least they're not taking up a big footprint on your crafting shelves, right? All right, I think we're getting organized. Round 2. Oh, really? Yeah, here we can't hardly give the wooden stamps away. Even if you have somebody at a craft fair and you are selling something else, and if they make a purchase, you offer them a wood stamp for free, most people won't even take them. I just don't have the storage space, and quite honestly, I'm really pretty happy that Stampin' Up! Is changing their packaging to make the photopolymer stamps go in the sleeves like the dies are, and we won't have like the CD kind of case for those anymore. Yeah, and I've seen those on our buy-sell trade sites here, and where people have tried to do that. Here, you can have them, just pay for the shipping, and they don't go. It's kind of weird. But some of our schools will take them. Oh yeah, just just the wooden blocks left. Yeah, either way. The wooden blocks could probably have been burned. But yeah, you could make crafts out of that for sure. All right, so let's move this up here. I think we're ready now. See, this is what happens when I don't have a master plan before I start with what I really intend to do. I'm going to move some of these colors out of the way. All right. So with this one, what I kind of had in mind, and we'll see how it goes, is I thought I would punch these out. So here's the card that we did from World Card Making Day. Yeah, I like the CD cases, but they do take a lot of space. And the pictures that are on the spines, they're so small for me, they don't really do me a whole lot of good anymore, So when these images are on here, a lot of people want to see the spines. Well, I can't hardly read any of that anyway. I have to take my reading glasses off. So I'm going to be happy just to have them like this. And I keep my stamps in alphabetical order anyway. So by just having the folders in clear bins, and I'll just leaf through them that way. It'll be a little bit of an adjustment, but it's going to save me a lot of room in my crafting space. All right, so this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this apart. I'm going to separate that base from the Handmade and Heartfelt Kit. And that's what this is all from. This is from the Handmade and Heartfelt Kit that we did for World Card Making Day yesterday. So I'm going to save this for some other project. I'm not sure what it will become, but I will do something with that. And what I thought I would do with this is I'm going to punch these elements out. So these, I have it's a 1 1/4 punch. I don't know if it's still available. I apologize if it's not, but if you have punches in your stash, you probably have some basic geometric shapes. Nothing wrong with using what's in your stash, right? Oops, lost that one. Yeah, I had grand plans of having like a spreadsheet. And there's a couple of sites where you can enter your stuff and you could put tags on them so that, you know, you could search by a keyword. And I had really good intentions. I started doing a really nice job with that. And then, you know, it just gets kind of cumbersome. You get new stuff and you just I can't keep up. So then I'm going to cut these out with a die from my Stylish Shapes. The punches or the dies. I wish I had a 1-inch punch. I don't have a 1-inch punch for a circle punch for whatever reason. So I think we're just going to use these. We're going to run these through and we're just going to make a random collage of these elements, I think. And we'll see what happens. Well, I guess I'm going to have to trim this down a little bit because that won't work. I'll have to get my big machine because I want to save. I forgot that was a little wider. I think I want to save the frame on this too. So if I get these back out. You know, I've had people get paper pumpkin kits from me and that, and they don't know, maybe they don't like the design, so they're like, oh, I don't know what I can do with that. Well, just start doing something else with it. I think I'll cut, maybe I'll just do my trimmer. I have lots of punches, just not a 1-inch circle punch. Let's see about, I just want to take this centerpiece out and keep that frame. Hopefully my big old head's not getting in the way. Oh, punches and concrete floors? No, they are not friends. Let's see how I did here. Look at that, I did pretty good. All right, so I'm going to hang on to that frame just because I think it can be used for something else. And then let's, oh, I probably don't even have to trim that down now. All right, let's see how this goes. Yeah, some companies are really good about doing stuff like that. They'll send you new ones. I had, oh, that I'm going to have to cover that up. That had like a little edge notched out of it. But this one is going to be too small. That'll work for the heart. I got some straight walled jars from a company. I can't remember what the company name is. But they had wood lids, and I wanted the straight jars for my sourdough starter. And somehow the what am I thinking of? The gasket from around the lid got ripped. It broke, so it didn't seal properly. So I emailed them and I said, you know, it's not your product at all. I love the product, but I ripped this. can I purchase a replacement from you? Because I couldn't find any replacements for them on their site at all. They didn't have a replacement piece. And they wrote back to me right away and said, oh, we'll just mail you a new one. They mailed me 2 to replace the ones that I had ruined. And I thought that was really quite nice. So I think maybe, let me try this square. The square might work really good for my little bird here. Instead of the circle, because the circle's just a little big and I'm getting some of the edges where I'm going to have to overlap things so you can't see them. But yeah, it never hurts to ask. All they can do is tell you, no, we won't help you. But I'm not above asking. So we can do this one here. And I think we'll do this one in square also. I wonder if I could fit the circle die here and do them all at the same time. We'll try it, we'll see. Save time, right? I think, you know, the good companies will stand behind their stuff pretty well. They don't want you to give a bad review. You know, they don't want their reputation score ruined, you know. All right, so now we have all these little bits. I'll put these away again. Yeah, the worst they can do is say no. All right. Let's put these away so I don't lose any of these. Oh, and here's another one where I have magnets. Because I was using these so much, I just put them on the magnet sheets. But you can see how very thin these are. They're really super thin, very flexible. And then I just put some two-sided tape, either the seal or this tear and tape, kind of around the edges. And then I use whatever two-sided tape is still left on that tag board that the dies come on from Stampin' Up. All right, so we got 3 of these. We got some little birds. We've got a couple little birds here that I'm going to have to overlap because their edges got munched up. But I thought we'd just do something a little different. And then we could do the Secret C, because the Secret C is on some of these pieces. We could even probably put this on here. Let me burnish that. And then there's some rough edges there. You might not even be able to see that, the rough edges. So then I thought I would just start putting some of these things randomly on here and just make a fun little card this way. Some of those could go up on dimensionals. Some could be flat on the card. And then let's find the sentiments. Hello, sunshine. Thanks so much. Thinking of you. Happy birthday. Or wishing you the best. What do you think? Should I put some... Do you think I need like some bigger circles or squares behind there? Is that a ticking clock? For me, yes, I do have a clock that ticks. Can you hear that? It's about 4 feet from my camera. What do you think? What do we need behind here? Maybe we need some texture. Maybe we need a layer with some dotted circles. Yeah, it is a pretty good mic. You know, I went into my she shed a few weeks ago and I heard ticking and I looked up and my husband had found a chicken clock and had hung it in my she shed. And I'm like, really? This is my she shed. How do you know because I don't really want a clock out there. But I thought, you know, that was really sweet. He goes places and he sees things and he thinks of me and he gets them, which is very nice. Let's do, what do we want to do this? It needs something. Yeah, I'm not sure what either. So we're gonna kind of play here. And we're gonna do a textured layer and see what that does. And it might need a brighter color. You know, maybe I need to put some of this, oh, what color is this? Petal pink, I think that is. Let's just run this through the embossing machine, or let me get a petal pink one as well. We might like the petal pink one better. And maybe I don't want this frame on here at all. We'll see. Once I put the other layer on there, I might not want that frame on here. Yeah, it does look unbalanced right now. I just kind of laid those out there. But I agree. It does look unbalanced. It just looks kind of blah. And this one I actually thought turned out quite cute. I wasn't really excited about it to begin with, but I thought it turned out pretty cute. So what I could do is, like on this piece, I could take here, let me go get some petal pink. I was thinking this might be my night of ink blending. We could just do some tone on tone here and add some more little random circles. And it might look stupid when we're done. You know, I can always flip it over. It's got two sides, right? And then I still want to run it through the embossing folder just because I think it needs texture. Thanks for popping in, Sala. See you next time. I'm thinking I like the brighter color than the Lost Lagoon there. So let's put this, we're gonna go like that, I think. Let's just see how it looks. So when I've got the 3D embossing folder, I just need plate 1 and plate 4. So those dots there, the little circles underneath are just kind of subtle, but I think they add a fun little element there. We may or may not need the frame. And then if we start putting these on, we could even do something like that. And I wouldn't even need all the little things. And I need a sentiment on here too, so let's not forget about that. And we could do, what did I say? Thinking of you, maybe? Wishing you the best. Maybe a thinking of you. You like it with the frame? But then we don't have any of the secret C showing. So I could actually put it on, I could put it on Lost Lagoon instead. When we open it, we're going to have that secret C. Let's just do this. I think this is 8.5. So yeah, I'll score this at 4 1/4. We'll just do the base the same color here. Actually, I think I want to do it this way. It doesn't want to cooperate. I'm going to flip that over that way because there was a little overlay. The frame with the frame's got itty bitty little polka dots on it, so it's really cute with the frame. And then we'll put the bird right side up with that little circle there, the little heart, and there's like little hearts as the design on here. And then if we do the sentiment, we could do that in secret C so it stands out. Clean that right away. And then let's see what kind of banner I can find. Oh, actually, I wonder how that would look. We'll get all kinds of geometric shapes in here. This is a Heartfelt Hexagon Punch, by the way. I had pulled it out because this kit was called Handmade and Heartfelt, so I thought, well, why not? And we could do a little blending, ink blending around the edges. I know, it's not done. There's an even number, well, not really, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 circles. But you're right. Gotta have odd numbers. I just want to soften up those edges a little bit and see what we think of this shape. What do you think of that shape? Does that work? Or should I do... Hello, Tanya Smith. Welcome. 5 circles, 1 square. You're right. All is right with the world, right? I'm just kind of looking and seeing what do we want to do here. What's it going to be? Do we like this or not? The hexagon's all right. And do we want more than 2 birds on there? Do we want to have... There, we could have 3 birds, 3 background circles, and an extra heart. I'm kind of liking that. What do you think of that? Something like that? So Tanya, I don't know. Have you been here before? Where are you watching from? I don't remember if you've joined us before. Oh, hot apple pie and ice cream. Great. Now I can get hungry. It's like 1 in the morning here, and I don't have any hot apple pie. That sounds really good. So where are you watching from? Thanks for joining us. Well, I'm glad I didn't miss your name before. I try to remember, but you know, sometimes I can't quite remember everybody. So I like this, and I'm gonna get a petal pink base for the inside because we'll want an inside layer too. Oh, I actually, talking about ice cream, I ordered some little, they're only like this big around, and they're maybe about 3 or 4 inches tall, little ice cream churn things. I got them off of Amazon. I saw them like in Good Housekeeping or something, one of the fun new gadgets. They work really good. So I made homemade ice cream. That's the point of it. They're filled with, like the canister is filled with whatever they fill it with. You put it in the freezer for a day or 2. So it gets solidly frozen. It's got a motor that goes on the top, and there's a little paddle wheel. And then you make up your recipe. So basically it's like 2/3 of a cup of stuff that'll fit in the churning tub. You churn it for 20 minutes and you've got soft serve ice cream. We made, my granddaughter and I last weekend, we made cherry. So we had some cherry syrup that we put in for the flavoring and some maraschino cherries. It was super good. Oh, and we put pecans in it too. It was really good. All right, so I think I'm gonna put this through the embossing folder. I'll put a white layer. No, that's probably gonna be too much to write on the inside. So let's put some more little dots. This will be our inside layer. And we'll just randomly put some circles around here. So you're from New Zealand. Great. So you're ahead of us. So it's already Monday. Monday afternoon by you, right? Am I right or not? I try to keep track of the time zones. So I'm in Wisconsin in the United States. It is currently 1 a.m. almost. So I probably wouldn't have had to worry about putting circles on the inside. So it's only 7 a.m. Monday, huh? So you're only 6 hours ahead of us. Okay. Well, thanks for stopping in. We're just kind of playing around with the World Card Making Day kit from Stampin' Up! That we did yesterday at the World Card Making event. And I'm just freelancing, so we're doing whatever it is we do. We'll see how it turns out. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's just paper, and we redo it. Alrighty. Oh, 7 p.m. Okay, you're further ahead of us. Thank you, Bonnie. I missed that. Totally missed it. So 7 p.m. would be 18 hours ahead of us. Okay. That makes more sense actually, now that you say that. All right, and then I'll put a white layer inside here as well, and I'll do that later. So this will go inside here. I think we'll put like a little birdie in the corner maybe. We could actually even just right there. I wouldn't need anything on there. I think that bird needs to be a little sideways. It's flying. All right, so let's go ahead and attach this. So yeah, that's almost Tuesday. Oh, your son passed boot camp. Yay. So were you not sure of that before? Because I thought you said he was graduating in December, right? I never really kept track of the recruits because I always worked with the service members that were discharging when I worked at the VA. You can be very proud of him. I'm sure you are, obviously, or you wouldn't mention it. That's great. Alrighty. So that can go there. I don't know if I should raise this up. That might look silly raised up. No, I think I'll raise it up. Why not? We'll use some of these adhesive strips. They work really good. So that's a plan for graduation in December if he passed all phases. So he's an AIT. I don't know that I know the acronym AIT. Active in training. I'm not sure. I'm just guessing. All right, so we're gonna do 2 layers of this. I love these foam adhesive strips because they're narrow and they just fit these narrow spots better than dimensionals do. Got that just a little crooked. There we go. Okay, job training. So what specialty is he doing? Has he decided that? I guess I don't know when they go from boot camp through the phases to graduation if they do their specialty or not at that point. My son intended to go into the Air Force, but was denied because he can only hear out of one ear. Oh, he's going to be military police. Ooh, impressive. He can't hear out of one ear, and he had glasses, so he would never end up being a pilot, and that's what he wanted to do. Okay, so they make the decision at sign up. Okay. Very cool. All right. I think this will look pretty good. Yeah, Bonnie, it's nice to have these for the shaker cards. Because when they're narrow like that, they shape so easy too. Hello, Fifi. It's kind of late for you to be hopping on by us. We're just doing a remake of some of the World Card Making Day cards. Did your group have a nice crafting time? Yeah, it's hard not being able to see them, isn't it, Juju? Oh, no worries, Fifi. It's fine. I'm going to go ahead and put this down. Yeah, I had one of my gals come in person. I I think this bottle is either stuck. Oh, there we go. Either stuck or empty. Yeah, I had one of the gals from my team actually come over, my other Linda. And we fully intended to craft, and we ended up just kind of listening and chatting and eating, of course. There's usually snacking involved when we're in the studio. All right, and this little birdie's going to come here. I like that. So if you and the multi-purpose liquid do not get along, my suggestion is use less glue, because that's usually the biggest problem people have, is that they're just using too much glue. ... not a lot, is what my granddaughter used to say. Now she tries to scribble like I do, and she just needs to get the control about not putting too much glue on. All right, I'm going to put this on dimensionals. I don't know what I did with... I thought I had dimensionals out. Here they are. There's a lot of people that struggle with that, what we call the green glue. I like it. All right, and I'm going to take some of this. Oh, I got ink on me. Looked like a bruise there for a minute. Well, I have seen you craft a little bit, and you know, you seem to be at your happiest when it's messy. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. All right, so if we put this, and I'm not attaching these down yet because I still want to get a little bit of layout here. It is some good glue. I like using the liquid glue just because it gives me wiggle room, because it doesn't set up right away. Although the thinner your stream of glue, the faster it sets. So you do need to kind of be aware of that. So I think we'll do something like this. There, that looks pretty good. And then we were looking at these. I like these little extra circles. And oh, we've got these little ones too from the punch out piece. And I didn't realize I did my ink blending on the right side and the wrong side. So this will not be another one of these. But I will probably just do some ink blending all over it, and I'll use it all for something else. I've heard several people that use the Barely Art. And is new, are those two different things, Barely Art and Nouveau glue? Because I've heard the Barely Art for sure. So we can do a little bit of this. And then do I still have, I wonder if I still had one of the petal pink, but I don't. I'll use this little one. Two different things. Okay. Maybe I should use those little circles because I still want to be able to see the tone on tone. You can kind of see that with the screen there, where I've got some tone on tone here, and I've got the embossing folder. But yeah, Fifi, you may have been the one that told me that it rubs right off. I pretty much just use the Stampin' Up! Stuff because I buy it from myself. So it just makes sense for me. You know, everybody's different. So what are we thinking? These might need to overlap a little bit more. I think this is kind of fun. I think that'll have to tuck behind here. So I think that's better than the first version we had, right? Exactly. You have to use what works for you. And that's why too I'll use like the Stampin' Up! Envelopes, because I want other people, when they're crafting with me or my customers, I want them to purchase the things that I can get credit for. So there's a little extra light too. What do we think of this kind of layout here? Does this work? We'll put this little birdie behind there maybe. So here's what we started with. And I still have a couple little birds here. But they can't go on here because there's just going to be too much going on. I could put one inside, I suppose. But what a difference, right? So the same elements, because I just punched this out of the card base that it came on. I don't even remember. I must have, yeah, I put that in the recycle bin. Yeah, so a lot of, it's, you either love it or you hate it. Kind of like when Stampin' Up! Used to have Fast Fuse, which is like our Seal Plus, only different. Some people hated Fast Fuse, some people loved it. It, like Fifi said, you have to use what works for you. All right, so this little bird's going to get tucked under there just a little bit because part of my edge got off of there. All right. So I'm going to start gluing some of these elements down because I think they're going to work. So this little one, and I do have an extra bottle here in case this one really goes totally empty on me. This I'm just going to press down on here. And I want to make sure I press it down just because of the embossing folder. I want to make sure it sticks. And then this one, I think we'll use just maybe a couple little strips of the foam. I want to tuck that under. You'll probably hardly even notice that edge, but I'll see it. So I want that tucked underneath there. All right, and then this I can probably put down and hold that twine in place. All right, and that should work there. So we'll take our little brown circle, and that's got itty bitty little polka dots on it too. And I'm going to do a couple of those little strips on here again. Maybe if I can get them to come off the sheet here. And I'm just using those because they're handy. And they're small. I just gently tuck that one corner under our sentiment there. So then the last one we've got is this one. But we also have a lot of these. So I've got 20 of these little brown dotted ones. So I'm thinking maybe I should do a little cluster there even. Why not, right? Why not? All right. Make sure that's stuck on there. Cute. I think a little Wink of Stella is in order for the birds. I'll get this put away. Make the birdies all shimmery. That will probably not show up on my video, but just know the birds are shimmery. And then, I know Wink of Stella makes everything a little bit better. They're cute. I don't know if the light will pick up the Wink of Stella, but it's on there. And then we need some little kind of embellishment maybe, huh? I mean, there's a lot going on here, but it just seems like some little dot would be in order. Timid Tiger is kind of bright on there. I don't think I need another shape on there. Those are little hexagons from the Turtley Sweet. And then we're looking at retired stuff. Starburst sequins. Those might work. I'm pretty sure those are retired. I need to pull them out of my stash. Oh, these are on the last chance list. Starburst sequins. 165539. So they are marked down to $6 in the US. So I think I'll use white ones. And maybe over here. And they're not in your face. They're not super obnoxious. So I think I'm just going to put a few more. Oops. That looks silly there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They just add a little bit more glimmer too. All right, so these Starburst sequins, last chance list. Who knew? All right, so from this to this to this. Now the inside didn't have anything from the World Card Making Day. But I think this is cute. I like the brighter color. I mean, this is cute too. I like this, don't get me wrong. But I think this, it's happy. What do you think? All right. Oh, I was going to put my little heart on here, huh? Well, let's just go and do that because I think that heart needs to be on there. Now we'll have to count how many elements we have. Do we have an odd number? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This will be number 9. Perfect. And I'm going to put that right over there. So I can still see some shaded dots with the ink blending. All right. let's put more things away. And then I can pretend that I'm all organized. All right. I need to find my little sentiment thing here. Well, I know it goes on here, so I'll just put this here. Oh, her brain was screaming, you need one more. See, right? My eyes knew it. My eyes knew it. All right, so I think we're just going to do the 2 cards. I've been on here for over an hour. And since I need to go to the college tomorrow, I need to get a little bit of sleep. But I've got a few more elements, and then we've got some extra pieces. Like this one, I thought I would do something with this. We'll see. And then we still have these couple of pieces too. So more maybe for tomorrow night. Well, tonight, later, because it's 1:30 in the morning. The brain knows, Juju. The brain knows. And then I also had an idea for the envelope. And that's why I pulled this out, because I think I'm going to make a bunch of these. And we're going to lay out probably something very similar to this. So stay tuned. Maybe we'll get to that tomorrow. But for now, that's all I've got. That is all I have for tonight. Thanks for popping in, everybody. I appreciate you joining me. Yes, don't mess with the brain. It might explode. Well, thanks for popping in, Fifi, Juju, Bonnie. Who else was here? I've forgotten. Sala was here. Tanya Smith. I don't know if Tanya's still here, but thanks for popping in, Tanya. Appreciate you stopping by. I'm just trying to scroll through and see who else I might have forgotten. Have a great night, everybody. I'm just going to say have a great week. And happy crafting. So until next time, happy crafting.